So this will be fast and loose a little bit. So we're about 2 minutes past. So I'm going to jump straight into this because we're a relatively small community. If you guys want to come off mute as we're going through a process and ask a question or just ping me in chat, we can actually make this more conversational than me just pitching presenting a deck to you guys. What I want to do is just take you through an overview of our Partnerships Build a Fast Start program. So the aim here is to give you a lot of value up front, and then at the back end, yes, full disclosure, there will be a pitch for a product, but we're all in business, so we should expect it. And it'll be a very high value, low cost offer that I'll put to you if you want some support in building out around this partnerships fast start model. So the aim here today is to give you a formula and a framework around how to actually get this done really, really quickly. What we're looking to achieve here is get you building a referral partnership program, proof of concept. So we're not looking for perfection. We're not looking to hit a home run on the first go. What we're looking to do is help you build a partnership program that duplicates and scales and gets you referred leads consistently. So that's the objective for today. The framework and model that I'm going to take you through, our Fast Start program allows you to do this in 3 days or less. You could do it in one day if you actually sat down and just focused on going through all the steps of the referral marketing formula in one go. But I don't necessarily recommend that. Most people don't have the time to do that. So what I'm going to do is show you how to design, build, and launch your partner program in bite-sized pieces so that you just do a little bit each day for 3 days. And at the end of day three, you should be in a position to go out to a potential referral partner or go to your existing clients and have a partnership conversation with them that gets you introduced to some of their suppliers, vendors, advisors, reps that are calling on them, because your best clients are actually working with right now your next best referral partner. And what what we're going to go through is just about getting you laser focused on having really strategic conversations that lead to sales results from your existing network, from your existing connections. So to avoid me repeating myself, I'm going to jump in and share this presentation with you guys. Ping me in, ping me in chat, um, if you've got any questions along the way. And then if we want to open up a conversation as we're going through this process, then we can just get you on mic and make this interactive. So can you guys all see my screen? Yep, perfect. So one of the things that or a couple of things that we're seeing in the marketplace right now is that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's getting really, really noisy. The marketers, the marketing industry out there, and all of these newfound AI consultants are really hyper focused on spreading a message around marketing at scale, getting your marketing automated, spray your content out there in as many times as you can, as much as you can. And if everybody's doing that, that's creating a really noisy market. So there's a bit of there's a lot of information overwhelm going on at the moment, and I'd be interested to see from your guys just in chat, yes or no, are you seeing a drop off in engagement around content? and on social platforms. I know that the majority of people that I'm speaking to are finding that their actual engagement and reach on LinkedIn is dropping off significantly. Yep, down 10 to 20%. That's interesting, Luke. Yep, Srikanth. Even even the LinkedIn influencers who have multi-million dollar consulting and marketing businesses built on LinkedIn over the last 5 or 6 years, they're seeing their engagement plummet. And these are guys that are really closely, tightly aligned with LinkedIn as a product, a brand, and executive level, but they're seeing their engagement drop off. This is typical if you watch the growth of social media platforms. Facebook did it, Instagram did it, Snapchat did it. They basically have this period where they give you lots of engagement, build the platform up, get lots of interaction, and then gradually shrink down your organic reach, which then pushes you into being forced to do paid advertising to get reach. So, you know, everyone should be doing outbound marketing in some way, shape, or form. Inbound marketing from an advertising perspective, you really should only be doing if you've got a very dialed in process where you know your numbers and you can see that if you're going to drive ad traffic at your website, that you can see and measure the bottom line impact. Because if you can't, then you could just be spending money on ads, which is nothing more than a very expensive branding exercise. So, you know, as we get into a conversation around building referral partnerships, I'm not saying don't do outbound, but you do need to be really strategic around how you do outbound. And I'm not saying don't do inbound, but again, make sure that you've got a high converting sales process or sales funnel if you're going to be driving ad traffic at websites and landing pages and that sort of thing. Gil, yeah, you're seeing engagement dropping off as well. That's across the board. And there's a number of reasons for it, which I won't go into now, but organic, the big risk with any organic traffic methodology is it works for a finite period of time, and then basically the algorithm changes and you've got to go and completely reinvent your engagement strategy. With inbound advertising, any campaign that you run has a shelf life and it will progressively, um, even if it's a high converting campaign, it will typically mature over time and become less effective. So you've got to be constantly refreshing those things. Likewise, when you're working with referrals, you need to be looking at what's shifting in the way people are engaging and then making sure that you're adapting to that process. The beauty of referral partnerships is that you're building a relationship with a center of influence who already has an existing relationship with your ideal customer profile. So they can make multiple introductions to you. What what we find in the marketplace is a lot of people are doing a lot of business networking. They're going to a lot of in-person events, breakfast, lunches, and dinners. They're going to a lot of industry events and they're meeting people, but they're not making real connections that are leading to have a clear line of sight to new deals, new opportunities, new referral partnerships. And a lot of it has to do with how they're showing up at networking events, what they're looking for, and the types of conversations that they're having at those networking events. So, part of what we do with the referral marketing formula is talk to the marketplace about how do you have a different conversation at networking events, a conversation that actually leads you to referral partners and gets you introductions. When you get this process right, everything changes with your networking and the effective results of your networking. So, for example, I met a consultant via a networking platform, set up a meeting with him, had that meeting on Tuesday, I think it was. So first meeting, discovery call, essentially, you know, check to see whether there's alignment, how we may or may not be able to help each other. By the end of that call, that consultant had actually introduced me to four potential referral partners. Now, these weren't these weren't any kind of referrals. These were really influential people who are directly aligned to my ideal partner profile. The reason that I was able to go from just met the guy to in the first meeting to four quality referrals was how I engaged with him up front and the fact that he was very much aligned with my ideal partner profile. So when I had that first conversation with him, it was a matter of I had a value proposition that was important to him that helped him with his core business, which made that whole conversation flow. It was obvious how we could work together in that first conversation, and that level of comfort because of that engagement approach basically led to four meetings. I've already got appointments booked with three of those four referrals, and he had already given me a heads up that the fourth one was going to be extremely hard to get to over the next 3 months. So they're the types of results that our partner network and our collaborators are getting using the formula and the approach that I'm just about to take you through. So, just for context, there's a couple of people, most of you I've actually spoken to personally. Patrick, I don't believe that we've connected previously. Gil, we haven't spoken for a while, so I'm not sure that you've seen the formula. But referral marketing ideas and the referral marketing formula is all about giving you a predictable and scalable approach to doing business development. Now, I'm primarily focused on and talking here in the B2B space. This this works B2C perfectly well where you're talking about high ticket items where you've got a complex sales process around high value sales to consumers. If you're selling houses, boats, yachts, whatever, this formula and process and model works. If it's a swipe your credit card type business that you run, then there's other aspects of the formula that will work for you. But today I'm primarily talking about B2B partner, referral partner relationships where there's complex sales cycles, right? There's a human to human involved. So the difference between the referral marketing formula and word of mouth marketing is word of mouth marketing is largely ad hoc. Clients are typically not great referrers of business, partly because we make it hard for them. We don't train them. So we can fix that. But I typically clients will refer occasionally, right? When you get the right referral partner structure and you get the right value proposition for that referral partner, you become part of their everyday conversation with clients, or you become part of a go-to market strategy that you put in place with those referral partners. Therefore, you're getting engaged with more of their clients more often. When you get that right, that makes that process of getting referrals duplicatable, scalable, and predictable. And that's really what we're aiming for, so that we've got some control over our deal flow, our lead flow, and we're not solely reliant on cold outreach to the marketplace. So one of the biggest challenges is because the marketing industry and digital agencies, etc., their business model is focused on what's the new trend, what's the new campaign. And I'm an advocate for that, right? We should be focusing and leveraging what's trending now, but not at the expense of not focusing on the value that's locked in your existing CRM and your own network, right? What I see with a lot of businesses is they're so focused on chasing the next new cold lead or cold logo, which has a really long nurture cycle because you've got to build up that know, like, and trust. Trust, there's a trust recession going on now. So the number of touch points and engagement points that you've got to have to get a cold net new lead to a sale is much longer. The number of those leads that you need to deal with is increasing because what we're seeing across the market is conversion rates going down. So, how do you offset that? By getting warm leads that come to you pre-vetted, highly qualified. You've got borrowed trust because it's come through a close relationship. You get that by focusing on your existing network, past clients and present clients, right? So the biggest thing about referral partnerships is the opportunity cost of referral partnerships is hidden to most businesses. They're not looking for it. They're not looking for it. Therefore, they're not measuring it. Therefore, they don't see it, right? So a perfect example of this is when I was doing some fractional business development for a SaaS company. I had a whole lot of technology partners. I introduced a technology partner to a potential referral partner. But it wasn't just, hey, here's an email. I sat them around a boardroom table. We had 7 people in the room, had a big strategy session around why they should be collaborating. Everyone shook hands, agreed that it was match made in heaven. I walked out of that room and left those two businesses to their own devices. 2 years later, I ended up coming back and working full time in that technology company. I went into their multi-million dollar CRM, found the partner that I'd introduced them to, and there was donuts of engagement and nothing done from a revenue perspective. So I went and had 2 coffees with that referral partner, and within 6 months, that technology company had written $11.2 million worth of business. That's an average of $5.6 million per coffee. Right. The thing is, if you do simple math and work backwards, if they'd have been working with that consultant over the previous 2 years, they potentially, based on that run rate, could have made another $44 million worth of revenue. So, but it wasn't obvious because nobody was measuring it, nobody was looking for it, therefore it was invisible sitting right under their nose. Every every good successful business that has quality client relationships and is delivering on their promises, they basically have these opportunities laying around in their business right now. So whether we're talking about you as a business owner or you as a sales executive, sales manager within a business, or whether you're consulting to other businesses, there's a conversation to be had either internally or with your clients. And the referral marketing formula gives you the framework to go and have that conversation with your team or with your client base. So what I want to do is just run through the 9 different modules within our Partnerships Builder Fast Start program. And these are basically the 9 components of the referral marketing formula. So what I want to do is just quickly touch on the design phase. And this all starts with your ideal customer. And as existing business owners, you can actually go and profile your existing clients and go, right, who are my top 3 clients? Build a ideal customer persona or profile around those clients, and then start to look at how do you then extend that relationship into introductions into potential referral partners. I'm going to run through these all separately and individually in a second. So the design phase is just about thinking about who your ideal partner is and what's going to motivate them. What's the challenge that you solve for them? What's the opportunity you can create for them that's going to get them taking you into a conversation with your clients? And then we build out the process for you to engage the partners, and then the process for you to go and have conversations with potential partners. So the idea here is to just get you quickly to a point where you've got a proof of concept structure, you've got a proof of concept value proposition, and then you can go and start having conversations with potential clients and potential referral partners around this model. Your your best customers are your best pathway to um, referral partners. So it's about how do we get you having a really simple conversation with your existing clients that's going to naturally take that conversation down a pathway of getting them to introduce you to their suppliers, their existing partners, their existing vendors, their current trusted advisors, right? There's a very, very simple conversational framework that you can actually implement into your business to get these introductions to potential referral partners when you know who the referral partners are that you're looking for. How you get those introductions to those referral partners comes down to what is your value proposition to those referral partners. The interesting thing about this process is when you're asking for a connection to a referral partner because there's something valuable that you can give or do for that referral partner, it takes a huge amount of pressure off the person that's actually doing the referring for you, right? Because one of the biggest challenges most people have when referring, it's like my personal status is tied to this referral. If I refer Derek into XYZ, if they don't do a good job, then, John is going to have issues with me, right? So it affects my personal status. That's the biggest barrier to entry for most people doing referrals. The other barrier is, hey, if I introduce Derek to John, Derek's going to go and sell John something. And do I want to be tied to the fact that I'm throwing John in front of a sales process? The referral marketing formula gives you a framework where you're adding value to somebody and you're not trying to sell them anything. That makes it a really easy, safe framework for clients to refer you into other potential referral partners because they're not seeing themselves as referring you in to sell somebody something. They're seeing themselves as doing that partner a favor by introducing them to you because of the value that you can deliver. This this is the area that you're probably going to expend a bit of brain power on. Each of these phases in the referral marketing formula, I've actually built advanced AI tools around to help you step through this process quickly. So, whilst these are complex processes, we've simplified it and made it quite a bit easier to get into a flow, right? But again, we're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for a starting point to go and have a conversation with the marketplace, and then we will iterate and improve on this process as you go. So, once you know what your value proposition is, you can then build out a starting point for a referral partner program. What does that look like? And then go and test that framework and that model by going having some conversations. Having those conversations is about building out your message to market and then having a compelling offer to actually get people to take action. So that's what step 5 is about. And then how do you actually go and find more ideal referral partners? Where are they congregating? And then how do you go and actually have a conversation with lots of partners all at once? And then how do you actually implement and onboard those partners? So the alignment phase is where we're starting to get into sales conversations. So what you want to be doing here is aligning your value proposition with the known challenges or goals of your ideal customer and your ideal referral partner. Each component of this model and framework builds on each other. So once you've got alignment Then we've got tools that will help you build out a business case and a strategy for you around a value proposition, and then help you build a go-to market plan so that you've got a roadmap for engagement with your referral partners. So you've got a very, very clear step-by-step process that gives them confidence around working with you, but also keeps them accountable to the things that you guys have agreed to do with your partners, so that you know that you're going to get a proven result. You know that if you work with a partner, you've got this framework, you've proven that it's got a result, or you're proving out that you've got a result. And the easy way to the easy way with this process of implementation is, even in the alignment and strategy process, is having a conversation around a proof of concept, because then you're not looking for any huge big commitment from a referral partner. When it's a proof of concept, it's just like, we know this works. Let's just prove it out for your business, prove the value out for you. And then here's what the next steps look like. Here's what the engagement roadmap looks like. And you've got a plan, a go-to market plan. Once you've been through the referral marketing formula, once with an ideal customer profile, you now have the building blocks and components and tools to start plugging all of the resources and the assets that you've created along the way into different aspects of your customer roadmap. So whether you want to use referral partnerships as a lead generation strategy, whether you want to use it for existing clients, whether you want to build a re-engagement strategy with past clients or past referral partners. I'm not going to go deep on this, but there's actually a model and a framework and a use case for the referral marketing formula in various different stages of the customer journey roadmap. This is probably more relevant if you're in the advisory and the consulting space, where you're actually going out and coaching businesses. So if you're a business coach, if you're a growth strategist, if you're a sales trainer, this is where you would probably want to have a separate conversation with me and go a little bit deeper into how do you use the referral marketing formula as part of a consultative engagement process. So that's a quick overview of the design, build, and launch model. And then the next step is, once you've built out this proof of concept, it's as you're having conversations, it becomes an iterative process for you to then refine and accelerate the number of partners that you bring on and the success that you have with those partners. And we have a partnerships builder community where you can actually get weekly access to me, to actually, in a group environment, to actually help you go deep on any questions that you have with the referral marketing formula, with the partnerships builder fast start program. So if you would like to engage with me in and around that, there's a link here which I will drop into the chat before we're finished, where you can actually go and access the Fast Start program. It's $97. With that, you get 9 GPTs, one specifically designed for each of those modules, so that you can get a really significant result fast without having to spend a huge amount of time. Those GPTs, you'll get lifetime access to those. I'm constantly tweaking them, iterating them, and refining them over time based on user experience and user feedback, as well as my own experience, because I use these GPTs in my own business on a daily basis.